What can you find on your partner's phone that will make you break up, besides cheating? Clear evidence that they're trying to kill you for a life insurance payout. I think I could live with this one. Not for long. Comments like this are the reason I pay my internet bill. I have heard stories about men in group chats exchanging pictures of their partners. So if my partner is sending intimate pictures of me to others, this happened to me. My boyfriend's best friend pulled me aside and asked me if I knew about it. I didn't. I was so delusional. I thought it was a compliment, but 15 years and lots of therapy later I realized he was a sad asshole. I once allowed my boyfriend at the time to take intimate photos of me that I would never have taken myself. Some included my face, because I trusted him. He worked in a supermarket butchery department with 5 to 6 other men, including his uncle. Later he admitted to me that he showed all the guys at work the photos so they could see how hot I was, because they didn't believe him. I pretended like I was flattered but felt kind of violated. We were together for another 4 years, and 2 kids. Family gatherings were awkward knowing his uncle had seen me like that. That's really messed up. I'm sorry that happened to you. Kind of violated? No, fully violated. I'm sorry this happened to you. Also happened to me. My ex-BF actually sent me a picture of me walking into a grocery store, and the pic was zoomed in on but with a text that said that I *s though, while he was on a business trip hundreds of miles away. It was from a close friend of ours who I really respected. I confronted the friend and he was like, "You know he sends us, the boys, your nudes, right?" Devastated, and I stopped being dumb after that. You weren't dumb. You trusted your partner, the person you're supposed to be able to trust. He was dumb for throwing that away for a couple attaboys from his perverted friends. Don't ever blame yourself for the actions of others. Wild. It happened to me too, except he showed them to classmates he told me he didn't even like that much. It was so gross. But I was also delusional and allowed him to take pictures specifically for showing others, only because I wanted to please him. I wish I could talk more self-worth into my past self. Our group chat is currently about our plans for aerating our lawns, and some light shit talking about neighbors not in the chat. I had a friend come to me impossibly uncomfortable about this. A friend of his, who I was casually seeing, had sent him a picture of me without knowing we knew each other. He was absolutely mortified, but according to him he would have felt sick not warning me about it. He hasn't spoken to him since, completely cut him off, and he isn't the sort of person who would ever think about violating someone's trust like that. That's a good friend. Gross. Not disclosing legal troubles. A video of her shooting a person in the head in our basement. Oddly specific. Gotta watch out for the property value. A murder will tank it. Use someone else's basement. LPT, look for murder houses if you wanna buy a house on the cheap. What if it is in someone else's basement? Murder is one thing, but making me clean blood out of the carpet is going too far, bro. That rug really pulled the room together. What if she had a really good reason for it? Did you ever think of that? There's never a good enough reason to commit a premeditated violent crime inside your house. That's just stupid. I would never stay with someone who can't be tidy with their incriminating evidence. What the fuck? He had quite a bit of random debt when we got together. This was really a red flag for me because he had a good job and no extenuating circumstances, illness, divorce, etc. But I gave him a chance. We made a plan for him to get out of debt over 2 years, which he did. He gave me his credit cards to hold for emergencies after he had a small slip. If I found out he had secretly amassed significant debt without telling me, I would be very upset and would consider ending it. That's some extreme and healthy adulting. Good for you. Hope it worked out. Thanks. We've been together for 11 years now, although it barely feels like any time has passed honestly, so I think it has gone pretty well. I read this as, that's some extreme and heavy adulting, like it's a competitive sport. And I don't think I'll ever think of adulting any other way. I'm actually a power adulter, heavyweight division. Random question, and I don't mean to get too personal, but what do people consider a significant amount of debt? Does the type of debt matter? Do you factor a car loan into the debt? The kind of debt absolutely matters. I think the significant part depends on the debt-asset ratio, age and ability to pay it off. A resident with $200K of medical school debt is very different than a 45-year-old appliance salesman living with his parents and $200K of gambling debt. Type of debt definitely matters. $20,000 in student loans is way different than $20,000 in credit card debt. Just a reminder that follow-up conversations strengthens the commitment. Make sure you tell him how proud you are. It's been 11 years now. But I tell him I'm proud of other stuff. Honey, I am proud of your Warhammer 40K collection. Wait there, how much? Bought another F***king horse. So you're saying she's already bought at least one horse? If they're that good at hiding a horse, I'd be nervous about the things they're hiding that aren't on their phone. Child abuse. You know the kind I mean. I'd say any kind of child abuse, not just that kind. I'd add animal cruelty to that list as well. You know the kind. I was telling a friend about someone in our distant circle who had been accused of looking at CP, and their initial response was, but were they looking at girls or boys? First, I had to stop, think, make sure I had correctly said what I said. Then, I had to stop, think, make sure I'd heard and understood their question correctly. Lastly, I had to say, very firmly, they were children. It's actually played through my head since then, and it's kind of messed up. What an unhinged response. My God, what is wrong with people? Like, were they implying that it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't a gay, same, automatic deal breaker and a call to law enforcement? I'm turning them in. Yup, this and animal abuse, those two actually really any abuse pictures or videos, I'm done. I'm also reporting to the police and FBI. I won't tell them why I'm breaking up so they do not delete the evidence and then hopefully one of those agencies does their job because absolutely not. I would then tell them once they are hopefully arrested. Sorry for such a long response, but I feel like I would have to try and find a way to stop them from acquiring said material. Tons of hidden credit card debt. Finding out my partner was sharing intimate pictures of me without consent would be an instant deal breaker. That level of disrespect and breach of trust is just as devastating as infidelity. What if it isn't cheating but evidence that he obviously isn't over his ex? Fuck that. I'd immediately bail. As someone who was in that exact situation and didn't immediately bail, I can say to anyone in that situation now pondering leaving, bail the fuck out ASAP. Not worth the epic migraines from mental gymnastics and endless feelings of not being enough. I'm in the minority here, but it really depends on the circumstances. Human hearts are messy, and once you've loved someone you can't always turn that off. If the evidence suggested that I was just a placeholder and they were actively plotting to get back together with their ex, I too would bail. If it's something that just suggested they still think about sometimes / have fond feelings for their ex and are still healing, I would want to talk about are they ready for a new relationship, but it's not an automatic ending for me. Alongside the cheating, I found messages during a break that were completely mocking me and making fun of everything I am as a person. Even if I had not found cheating, it was over. These days, I don't even care that I got cheated on. That type of shit just happens. People are young, immature, and controlled by lust. What actually hurts is reading her unfiltered thoughts about me. Agree that this is worse than cheating. Your ex is a disgusting person. Gambling addiction. I bet you wouldn't. I'll take those odds. Double or nothing here on. An email saying I missed a payment on a credit card I did not open. Yes, this happened. Yes, we divorced. Yes, we have mended our friendship but have gone our separate ways in life. Subpar cat videos. What if they've just got a subpar cat? Always needing but never needing. There's no such thing as a subpar cat. I have to disagree. Tiger Woods is a prime example of a subpar cat. I am incredibly proud of this one. There is no such thing. Talking shit about me or my loved ones. That really depends on to who. Everyone? Nah. That's bad. If I found my wife was bitching about me or my side of the family to her best friend, then I'm letting that ride because everyone needs to talk to someone. As long as any real issues were discussed between us, she's free to bitch to her best friend. One of my husband's coworkers once messaged me, we work for the same company but totally different orgs, to tell me how much my hubby loved me. Something like, hey, I just wanted to tell you how cool it is your husband says such nice stuff about you. He loves you kind of thing. That's exactly what I expect. Although I also really appreciate it. We've talked about how weird it is when people talk their partner. It's one thing if you need to talk to a close friend about an issue, but it's weird AF to just say negative things on the whole, even as a joke. I had a guy at a job I worked who just constantly bagged on his wife. Just complaint after complaint day in and out. All of them were presented as jokes, but finally after just one too many times I had it and I just said, dude, it does not sound like you even like your wife. You know divorce is legal, right? His face got red and he mumbled about how it was just jokes, and of course he loves his wife. I just said, for someone you love, I have never heard you say a single positive thing about her. I'm just saying, dude, if you're unhappy, get the hell out of there. He mumbled some more half-assed excuses and left the office area I worked in. I doubt he stopped altogether, but he never did it again in front of me. Maybe he wasn't aware of his habitual complaining, and your observation helped him to knock it off. Maybe, if I'm doing that, it's already over. Realist response in this thread. Seriously, the only ever time I ever felt like I had to look through his phone was the one and only time I've ever been cheated on in my life. Checking it was just the icing on the cake at that point. I've had a few relationships since then and not once have I ever gotten the feeling that I have to look through their phones. Your gut knows. I've been around for 39 years, and dated quite a few guys in those years. I only checked one boyfriend's email once, and found very clear proof he was cheating on me. I felt bad about doing it, but I was glad I found out and immediately broke up with him. Same. I have never felt the need or urge to snoop. The day I do, it's because I know something is up. Habitual excess spending/debt beyond our means. Multiple texts showing her utter contempt for me. Animal cruelty of any kind. Done. Talking shit about our marriage and me. Not defending or advocating for me to the people he knows. This actually happened to me. I noticed her family growing cold towards me. One day when she was bathing I saw her messages. Her entire family talking shit about me in their group chat. Incredibly cruel. Unfair. Mostly made up stuff. She didn't even mention that there's a conflict in the background. Never defended me. I ended our 5 years relationship right there. Massive amounts of debt/spending that they kept hidden. Gambling would be an easy example. Oof, I watched a John Deloney clip where a poor newlywed woman overheard her husband talking with his friends about how she was ugly. Just very matter of fact. She was distraught. I don't know what she did after. Anything to do with kids. I cut contact with a FWB when he casually mentioned he was letting a friend stay at his place when he was paroled. It turned out he's served 15 years on multiple CSA charges. I'm not staying in contact with anybody who has a nonce as their flatmate, friend or partner. Finding out they are doing drugs when they claim to be sober, especially when they are able to look you in the eye and lie about it. No liars. Being an internet troll/gross anonymous comments, i.e. misogynistic etc. I was driving and listening to a podcast about trolls, how sad they are and what pathetic joy they received from torturing women online. As I drove along, the thought popped into my head, I bet boyfriend does this. He really despises women. The next thought was, why am I with him? It wasn't the immediate end, but it was the beginning of the end of a 7-year relationship. I'm so much healthier and happier on the other side. CSAM would end it immediately and I'd go straight to the police. Oh my god, this acronym is my job title and I freaked out for a second wondering why you'd go to the police over a customer success account manager. Then I realized it's probably related to child porn. I would go update my LinkedIn if I were you. Do not use that acronym anywhere. AI. Girlfriend. Oh. Her. Child P. They secretly spend all our retirement money on Hummel figurines. Being in incel. Nazi or really hardcore conspiracy. QAnon spaces. Edit. Let's be real, incel has broadened to a larger mindset than just involuntarily celibate, and is now more a wider, extremist view of women's place in society and their attributes. And also people can hide this shit and be crafty about it. People can fall down the pipeline. People cannot be out and proud and just be like, nah. I think they just have some points. It's not so straight up and you're being obtuse if you think otherwise. Well, if you're snooping, these are things that you should not see. I met a real-life QAnon guy in person. It was buzzy. I calmly picked apart his arguments just by asking questions and had the opportunity to see cognitive dissonance happen repeatedly in real time. It was fascinating. He asked me on a date at the end and I said I would go on a date with him once he sent me the studies and sources he referenced during his arguments. What is this Spotify playlist? Nickelback, Nickelback, Creed, Nickelback. What is there was just only Daughtry and Daughtry cover bands. My wife has 3 Nickelback albums favorited and I have 9 Creed songs in my personal playlist. I guess we are both made for each other. That just shows they know how to party. A daily picture of me sleeping that she sends to both her mother and another unknown number that she labeled them. Oh, you gotta tell us this story, please. Whoa. I want to know more about this. Did you ever find out who them is? What the fuck? Why? Child abuse. Or taxidermy. Or taxidermy has me lulling. Deliberately and maliciously mocking me for my quirks/interests. She would never do that, but man, I'd be heartbroken if I found that. Similarly, I'm not into celebrity/pop culture worship, so if you don't like what I like, that's fine. I mean, I doubt it's gonna work if none of it matches, but individually is fine. But there are just a couple things with deeper meaning to me, and if you were talking shit about them after knowing that, then I don't think I could look at you the same anymore. You don't have to love them like I do, but if you're going around saying, this shit is so dumb, after knowing why it is important to me, then I'm gonna take that as a personal attack. Manosphere shit. Oh. Yeah. Fuck that. Having the dumbest influencers telling them how to think is an immediate turn off. I would burn my whole life down. Obvious, child porn. Specific. Multiple astrology apps. I'm fine if she's into astrology, but being really into astrology is a deal breaker. Wish I learned this lesson already. OnlyFans app. Porn is free, damn it. But darling, my subs paid for our vacation last year. Agreed. If you are so enamored by somebody that you are willing to pay them for videos, that's a big deal breaker for me. I agree this shouldn't be something you hide from your partner, but I don't understand the argument that porn is fine as long as it's free. Making porn is work, and the performers deserve to make a living from it. If it reaches the point that he has a parasocial relationship with the performers or he's spending more than he can afford, that's another thing. If I found he had a kid he was supporting on the side and that is why we are broke when he makes $250,000 and I make $110,000, pulling in $360K and you're broke, kid or not, you should probably look into that. What? Do you not know the details of your finances? If I'm snooping through my partner's phone, it means the relationship is already dead because there obviously is no trust, and without trust you don't have much of a relationship. TBH. I snoop in my partner's phone to figure out WTF they want for Christmas. A Reddit post hating on Scrappy. Look, I know Scrappy was objectively a bad character, but he was an integral part of my childhood and I will not accept Scrappy. Hate. I didn't know anyone hated him until the movie came out. I used to say, puppy power, all the time as a kid. This is a red flag. The reddest of red flags. Name checks out. His real family. What if his real family was the phone you snooped along the way? Seeing a subscription to Andrew Tate or the like. Killed 18 people. Up to 17 is fine. That's oddly specific. Undercover cop with a fake identity. Probably unpopular opinion, but the fact of me checking my partner's phone would be the relationship ender. If I can't trust them to the point I need to dig into their phone to look for reasons, then I shouldn't be with them. And if they had nothing to hide, you disregarding their privacy has destroyed whatever trust they had for you. Him texting someone and talking mad shit about me / being disrespectful. Proof of children or animals being abused in any way, shape or form. That's a breakup and a call to the police. Trump support. I'd leave a fucking cartoon smoke outline of myself. If he did not have enough pictures of our cats. Secret gambling. Damn shame I can't use the popcorn eating gif in here. Either way, let me grab a bowl. For every good reason so far I see half a dozen petty ass ones. Anything dealing with harming anyone defenseless, children, elderly, infirm, disabled, etc. Not only would I dump them, I'd immediately take that phone to the police if anything was illegal. Child abuse material. Racism. Proof they have been lying to me. And honestly that's about it. If they had killed someone and hidden it, I would be more upset about them not trusting me enough to help hide the body than I would be about the actual crime. Right-wing rhetoric. Tate videos. Anti-LGBTQ anything. Contact with my mom telling her about my life. Plus the usual child abuse, animal abuse. Anything else that seems too obvious to mention. Just fire them if you think your partner has a second job at a different firm. Kitty porn. Anything that displays a lack of love for cats. Liverpool FC supporter. Finding pictures of you that you didn't consent to. Basically keeping blackmail material. Child sexual abuse material or any social media likes or algorithms specifically with teenagers and stuff. If I found out she thought Tuvix should have lived. Janeway did nothing wrong. And only fans of myself and never got shared profits rolling on the floor laughing. Anything indicating he was a Trumper. No, I don't check my partner's phone. It's that simple. MAGA garbage. Animal abuse. Evidence of stalking, me or anyone else. I had one ex that threw that red flag pretty hard and it kinda messed me up. This is kind of a non-answer. But if I felt the need to check their phone at all I think that would tell me that I should end it. As for whatever reason I don't trust them and instead of talking to them about it I decide to snoop around their personal belongings. I'm absolutely stopped at the phrase. Check your partner's phone. It's just this seems as if there is already a trust issue. And instead of bringing that up in mutual communication, one snoops. That is the problem. Probably him talking smack about me to his family? Not that I really think that he would, but he has a big, close-knit family and I don't. Any dispute we have can anywhere between 1 and 7 people against me. A bunch of gambling apps. Complaining about me or our relationship to anyone, particularly if it's a topic that she's never brought up to discuss with me first. You're not wrong for you, but for me, I assume my wife complains about me to a friend occasionally. About little stuff. I trust she'd tell me about anything that really bothered her, but a bit of venting about trivial stuff is pretty normal. We've been married 25 years. My ex did that and it drove me crazy. Like how was I supposed to know if you never told me? No proof. Hear me out. My partner has a 3-hour-long conversation with someone that started bugging me at exactly that point. After much arguing, She threw her phone at me and showed me her messages. Very innocuous, brief, seldom and boring. Later she told me he was her best work friends, but they never work shifts together. I couldn't find the "hey, let's chat while you are on vacation with your boyfriend." So they had another way to communicate. I stopped looking. Next week I got more evidence. Sucks. What? The fact that you checked their phone tells me the relationship is already over. That's actually not true. I'm a huge privacy guy and I would flip out if somebody read my private messages, but that doesn't mean the relationship's ultimately over. It can mean that, but not always. I'll give you an example. Last relationship I was in just relationship heaven for the first couple years. Everything was perfect. She didn't do anything wrong, but I ran into my ex from many years ago who cheated on me. It triggered something in my mind and I had a relapse, I guess you'd call it. I got filled with anxiety and fear and just unreasonable and irrational imaginative nightmares that I could not get out of my head. And I broke my own moral code and I checked her phone. You know what I found? I found that her ex-boyfriend had reached out to her like 2 weeks before. I thought my heart was going to explode right out of my chest. Until of course I read the very short conversation. I'm in a relationship with someone I love very much and it is very inappropriate for you to be texting me like this. Please stop. That was literally all she said and the dude went away. And then I felt so damn guilty I admitted what I did to her and explained my backstory and why it happened. And she forgave me. I'm just saying, you can't necessarily guarantee whether or not a relationship is doomed from a bad incident. Context matters and always has to be taken into account. Honestly, if I saw a bunch of MAGA propaganda I would probably clock out. Gambling debt. Them using AI to make people appear naked. CP as number 1. But anything illegal that is hurting others is also a big one. Sending my private pictures to other people. Receiving leaked private pictures from friends and not calling them out. Being in weird Telegram groups like fascist or hateful groups and these kind of things. Watching morally questionable porn, like porn that depicts rape, incest. Talking bad about me. Anything weird to do with animals or kids. Any form of lying. Instantly spells the end. If I'm checking my partner's phone, trust has already degraded to a dangerous point. I've never done this with a partner, but I'd have to have considerable evidence of something and would only do so if it was needed to prevent further harm to someone. If I have evidence enough, I'll skip checking the phone, end the relationship and move on. I find out she's a Cowboys fan. Support for Trump or defending his dangerous policies. Anti-vaxxer. I am vaccinating my kids like a normal person. Being a secret Trump supporter. Nazi shit. Or any chat/Reddit account/ anything like that where he wrote stuff that was racist, misogynistic, MAGA, etc. Partners checking phones out of distrust is already reason enough to end it. If I check their social media and they're commenting mean, sexist or racist comments. Harmless until they start acting like that IRL. Selling drugs cause my ass is not going to jail. Here is the bottom line. If you feel you need to check your significant other's phone, email, mail, then you should not be in that relationship. Period. Either because you do not trust them, or you have deep-seated insecurities and need counseling before trying to be in a long-term relationship. Caught one ex of mine talking shit about me with his mom and broke up with him on the spot. Told him to go date his mom. Stop trying to find a way to end a relationship. If you don't want to be in it, be an adult and end it. I'm not going to help you out here. Any proof of being attracted to minors. Finding out she had been cyberbullying our daughter for over a year while acting like an outraged protective parent the whole time.